This is Cake speaking. Science is fun, and putting all the theories together and materialize the technology is an option. So, so maybe it has been linger for too long. Nothing has been done and nothing has been changed. That with the last resources, and that we ran out of patience and action has been taken, so the future may be secure, and simply we do not want to be in the old fashions and repeat the same mistakes over and over again, while we have the capability to improve our condition on Earth. That some of the aspects on Earth, some of the living aspects on Earth has been very, very punishing and very hard to live up with. That some hardware has been developed that we may make our life more easier, and is, as you can see, is a spiral helical spiraled in a helix fashion, in a double helix fashion, that to do the appointed jobs, to make the desirable outcomes. And this is a Sun class coil series, and interestingly we come across a technology from another world, from another sources that does not seems to be reflecting our double helix. Actually, is a 3-stranded DNA that I have in a moment ago that just enlightened me a little, and very, very interesting. That Sun class coil has been tested in the previous video, and Sun class sequence is 145236, which is a 6 base. Another rodent sequence is 9 based, as you can see, and typical Sun class double helix, we're familiar with it because it's part of our flesh and bone embedded within us. So if we spin the Sun class coil with the radiant type of fashions, that the Sun class coil in a small scale, in a circle, count up to 6 base in a circle fashion. Macabre, a root star has been chosen, that, and a very musical, systematic approach. 1, 4, 5. Swing back a little. There's nothing wrong with swinging back in terms of music. It's actually encourage you to not travel a straight line as long as musically concerned. Then we swing back a little. 2, 3. We complete our journey to 6. If you're familiar with music, that is absolutely a normal approach, a normal procedure, as long as you're familiar with the musical scales and the musical chords and musical notes. Swinging back and enriching your your quality of sound has always been encouraged. So in a circle, if you spin it, you can notice the resonance. 1, 4, 5. Orange represent a descending order. 2, 3, 6. You can visually examine the resonance, which is a bell shape, which gives one strain of our DNA. We have 2 strains. The empty flux gaps, the empty space would very well accommodate the second strain of our DNA, which in turn suggests that the macabre is a root star. A root star has a embedded double helix within it, which if you look into the root star, you can see both color line sets representing the double helix. But this is a Rodin maths, a 9-base systems. Interestingly, 9-base systems can also be accommodated within a circle, which interestingly suggests strongly, and now we can even visualize it, is a 3-strain that DNA is not from our world. This is why this video is for. So the Rodin math space, Rodin math sequence is 1, 2, 4, 6. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. And may I take a moment for the benefits of this video, that we take a moment to pause on the Rodin and mentions the photon class engine. A photon class engine suggesting that in the basic principle of the photons, it has a shell or an orbit. An orbit, the purpose of orbit is to orbit around the center, a center which, much like our Earth has a photon ring, a photon belt around its center, which the center is like an egg. It's much like the relationships of the shell and an egg. So, if you look at the Sun class coil, which embedded and which can be concluded with a photon ring, which is a systematic approach. 1, 4, 5, 2, 3. Swing us back to 6 and repeat 1, which is a systematic approach. Is nothing wrong as long as you are building hardware. That the photon ring in some cases will accompany with the Sun class coil as an orbit, as a second ring if you like, but in other cases you can do or do without the photon ring, but they just exist as this is the nature of photon. Is always come with a shell, it's some coil, some hardware always come with a second ring. Nothing wrong with that. Rhodon coil has 3 strands of DNA. You can see the characteristics of a photon coil, a Rhodon coil, photon coil. Find a photon class coil or a Rhodon coil, a pair line. You can look at it, a pair line. This is a typical characteristic of Rhodon coil, a 3-string DNA. While in this instance that might not be conclusive, a 2-string DNA it might has so-called flux gap, but it's not immediately appealing. So you string the DNA. If you look closely, when a flesh and bone try to get your dirty hand, get your hand you put it nicely in a formal fashion, put your hand on a technology that do not belong to you, the first things you would do is make a mistake that was last and that was stained on your blueprint. So do you see it? The first thing is a defect. The very first things, the very moment, the first steps, the initialization is a defect. We do not understand it because we do not think that is possible. A 3-stranded DNA, you can see it here. 1, 2, 3. And you can visualize its central resonance. It's very different from the bell shapes. So we will go into the construction. 3-stranded DNA and to initialize it on our root star. 1, 2, 3. -1, the first string. -1, second string. -1, third string. The -1s for the moment I do not know why is for the moment I do not know immediately why it's -1, but it's likely to introduce us to 390 degrees. This is how the macabre accommodates the 3-string DNA. So if you put it in a systematic way, the first sector of the macabre, which counts us to 120 degrees, -1. The third sector of macabre, which counts us to 120 degrees, -1. The first sector that spins us to 360 degrees, still 360 degrees, but the 3-stranded DNA seems to suggest very strongly a 390 degrees base. I do not know why. For now, I do not have an answer. But if you use Rhodon sequence to view it on blueprint, so you may have an idea on top of your head. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. You would have this nice is completely another experience and completely from another world. You can in the same plot experience two instances of double helix and a three-stringed helix, and of course this three-stringed helix macabre would in some cases has a photon ring, which is a systematic ring act as an orbit as a second ring, and which is completely natural in the photon class engine. And this is very interesting. So we will catch up with you and our friend maybe in a very near future. Thank you very much.